All right, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the CHB Podcast. Today I'm joined with Zamet again. This has got to be one of the most hectic kind of, I would say, in preparations for a podcast. Everything has gone wrong for me, my point of view. Zamet's been chilling here, probably touching himself or something. I don't know. But I have I think I've explained this to you, and I thought I explained this to most of you guys out there. My microphone, the audio input for my PC is literally like dead, and it is going to be a probably a couple $100 to fix. So it's a bit of a pain in the ass. I don't know. Have you ever had run into something like this, Amit, where your audio on your computer is just dead? It is just shot
No,
because
no, I haven't.
my jack, the thing that you plug your headphones in, it's like loose as, and I don't know what's going on right now. But you know what? That out of the way, there is a lot to talk about, especially because we'll start off with NBA first. I want to talk about AFL as well because we didn't get to do that last time. But with the NBA, Zambit is a huge New York Knicks fan. So I figured there would be no one better to ask about the emotional roller coaster you have gone through with the recent Donovan Mitchell situation. What are your thoughts and opinions on it, Zamet? Give me the rundown. Donovan Mitchell traded to the Cavs, didn't get to the Knicks. How do you feel?
Listen, it's tough. Like coming from a Knicks fan, that was the big thing. I was excited. It just seemed like it was destined to happen. That it was going to happen no matter what. He was coming to the Knicks. There was no other team that he would come to. No one could beat the Knicks package. It's disappointing, but I don't know. It's a thing that happened at an awkward time.
Mm,
We were not expecting Donovan Mitchell this year. We were expecting Donovan Mitchell for him to request a trade, but not this year. No one was
mm.
really like Gobert got traded, and it just all got blew up. Um, I think me, including a lot of the other Knicks fans, weren't expecting this for at least till next year or the summer after that. So it was a shock. And Leon Rose and the front office, they weren't ready. They didn't want to make this trade yet. They just gone Jalen Brunson. Randall was at his lowest trade value, possible.
Yeah.
They just weren't ready for it. And listen, they threw out their best deal, which included like RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, three first rounders plus pick swaps. It was a good deal. But they weren't willing to give up more, and Cavs were fucking.
Yeah.
Cavs did give up a lot. You
So you
know,
reckon it was a wrong
it's
time, wrong situation type of thing for the Knicks?
wrong situation. Like don't get me wrong. I wanted the second those rumors came out, I wanted Donovan like no other. But it just looking at it from another perspective, it wasn't the season for it, and
Yeah.
hopefully Cavs just do crap, and then he requests an.
I'll tell you what, you know Blake McGill, the tall redhead kid. He went to our high school. He has been on the podcast as like a background guest, right? I don't know if he was drunk today or something, but he texts me and he goes, "This is in his words, by the way, completely in his words. Imagine stealing Donovan Mitchell from us Knicks, taking another L. Don't worry, you can make a fucking podcast and I'll be on it, just swearing the whole time about how much I hate the Knicks organization."
I
Clearly,
think
a man
that's
who wants Donovan Mitchell to the team.
yeah. I think
You go,
there's
you go.
probably there's probably not too many of those people that feel that way. I think majority of the Knicks fans, all over social media, Twitter, I'm talking everything.
Mm,
We feel fine. We're feeling neutral. We're not feeling Leon Rose stuffed up. The front office is screwed. Tom Thibodeau needs to be fired. Um, but there's definitely no people saying it's just neutral. We're feeling
yeah.
neutral at the moment, most of us. And I think the feeling, if you really do feel like, oh, the Knicks fucked up, can we swear? So I'm swearing my head off, man. I'm pretty
Yeah,
pissed off
I guess
myself.
so. I mean, I can put a warning on Spotify, one of the E's, whatever it's called. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
Apologies. But yeah, listen, it's disappointing from a Knicks fan, but I think if you are not stupid and you know clearly that person is stupid that you just talked about. It's just from a Knicks fan, you
Yeah.
cannot honestly say, you know what, Knicks fucked up there. They should have beaten that deal. They should have offered RJ Barrett, Obi
Mm,
Toppin, Emmanuel Quickly, Quentin Grimes, bloody 4 first rounders and beaten the Cavs deal. No, looking, and I'm not bagging out the Cavs. The Cavs, what
mm.
they did was it was a very smart decision. And if I was at front office, I would pull that deal instantly. Looking at that team, you have a
Yeah.
better team than us. You've got what's it called?
Well,
You got
oh,
Garland,
I
you got
don't
Evan
necessarily
Mobley.
know if Blake is stupid. More of desperate would be the right word. I think he's desperate for someone to help the Knicks. And I made a video that was released obviously way before this podcast comes out. But at the time of recording this, it was released today, talking about I know you watched the first couple of minutes and you were texting it to me, why I thought the Knicks were the losers out of the Donovan Mitchell trade. And it wasn't necessarily because of that they didn't pull the move that had RJ Barrett in it. I think it was more of, I feel like there had to have been an opportunity for the Knicks to have gone about this a different way where they could have had RJ Barrett, Jalen Brunson, and Donovan Mitchell all on the same team. I didn't think it had to have been that they had to give up RJ Barrett. I think there was a lot of ways where they could have moved, Fournier on for a protected first or something like that. It just the pieces didn't fall together for the Knicks, and that's why I think it is. It could still be looked at as a failure, but not on the Knicks' role. It's not their fault that Julius Randle's trade value is in the negatives right now. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily their fault as well that Utah are probably not necessarily looking to take on players like Evan Fournier at this stage. And it's definitely not their fault that the Cleveland Cavaliers, what they had, could be seen as a better deal than what the Knicks had. Whether that matters, it doesn't really, because at the end of the day, what the Cavs had fit more what Utah wanted. They wanted younger players. And they were able to get Colin Sexton out of that deal. 22, I think, Achai Brodie. 22, he'll have his first season in the league this year. He was picked 14. And then you got Larry Markkinen, who was a desperate need for Utah because they didn't have a power forward. They didn't have a power. They had have no big man depth, and I think that was a desperate need because they were probably going to be playing Mike Conley at power forward next season. Like, that's the reality of things. So, yeah, you bring in Markkinen, 7-foot dude, 25 years old as well, still capable of being a really good role player. And then the picks. So, I just feel like the Knicks got really unlucky. They got really unlucky. And then you were talking about the situation earlier. The other situation I see is Tom Thibodeau, would he be able to coach a backcourt that had 2 6'1" players in it? Because he is so defensive orientated as a coach. If you moved on Barrett and all these players, I think you're looking at a starting 5 that has Brunson at the 1, Donovan Mitchell at the 2, and Fournier at the 3, and Randle at the 4. And we know how bad defensively that would be. Do you see that as an issue as well as maybe another reason the Knicks didn't pull the trigger was maybe the defense?
No. Personally, no, I don't. I think the big thing was just they just weren't willing to give up what Jazz wanted. I think the whole situation of the Knicks would have been, yes, defense probably will be an issue. Like, of course, with 2 6'1" guards, it's going to be hard. But I think their mentality going into the season would have been, you know what, let's just get our man and let's figure it out later. If we need to do trades, we will figure it out. As long as we had Donovan Mitchell signed on till, I think it's 2026, that would have been a massive
He's
win.
got a long time, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a long
that
time.
would be the thing. If you brought in Donovan Mitchell, it would be like, you wouldn't necessarily be looking at the situation now, as you just said. You'd be looking at, I think, the future. Because as soon as you bring in Donovan Mitchell, all-stars would be looking at that and they're like, damn, you know what I mean? So that's the thing. We're going to move on, though, because by the time this podcast comes out, the Donovan Mitchell news will probably be way, way, way in the past, because I recorded a podcast today as well, and I think this one will come out after it. So people are probably wondering, like, why are they still talking about Donovan Mitchell? But this stuff just freshly came out as we're making this. Again, that's pretty much the big NBA thing that's come out.
stands for